When it comes to the second impeachment trial for Donald Trump, consider the fact that second time around, 10 Republican lawmakers in the House voted in favor of impeaching him. Now, one of those Republicans was Representative Liz Cheney, who I disagree with on pretty much every single issue imaginable. However, she felt that she was voting with her conscience in voting in favor of impeaching Donald Trump, and I agree with her on that. And I agree with the other 9 Republicans who had a moment of clarity and realized, oh wow, these rioters could have really hurt us, and they were in fact incited by Donald Trump. Now, unfortunately, if you are a Republican with a backbone who's willing to stand up against Trump and his base, well, your own colleagues are gonna turn on you, and that's exactly what's happening with Liz Cheney, who's the 3rd ranking Republican in the House of Representatives. All of Trump's bootlickers, people like Matt Gaetz, are pushing for Liz Cheney to be stripped of her seniority, of her leadership role within the Republican Party. And the big question here is whether or not Kevin McCarthy, who's the House Minority Leader, is going to follow suit with the demands of the zealous Trump loyalists in the House. Now, Mitch McConnell, former Senate Majority Leader, has come forward to defend Liz Cheney, and here's what he has to say. Liz Cheney is a leader with deep convictions and the courage to act on them. She's an important leader in our party and in our nation. I'm grateful for her service and look forward to continuing to work with her on the crucial issues facing our nation. Now, by the way, McConnell also had some pretty harsh words that I happen to agree with regarding some of the conspiracy theorists in the Republican Party now, namely people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And he says this: loony lies and conspiracy theories are cancer for the Republican Party and our country. Somebody who suggested that perhaps no airplane hit the Pentagon on 9/11, that horrifying school shootings were pre-staged, and that the Clintons crashed JFK Jr.'s plane is not living in reality. This has nothing to do with the challenges facing American families or the robust debates on substance that can strengthen our party. And Marjorie Taylor Greene got real hurt. Her fifis got hurt regarding that statement, and she responded with, the real cancer for the Republican Party is weak Republicans who only know how to lose gracefully. This is why we are losing our country. Now, Cenk, I'm sure you have your own thoughts about what is making McConnell kind of speak out in support of Liz Cheney and against Marjorie Taylor Greene. There is this effort by some of these old school Republicans to try to save the identity of the party. But also at the end of the day, Liz Cheney is in favor of the same types of policies that McConnell's in favor of, especially increasing the military budget, moving forward with hawkish foreign policy. So of course McConnell is going to side with her as opposed to the lunatic fringe. Well, I shouldn't even say fringe, the lunatics in the Republican Party. And they're not the fringe, they're actually pretty illustrative of what the Republican Party is now.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene said they just want to lose gracefully, as opposed to what, Marjorie? As opposed to the violence that we saw on January 6th. So there she is basically supporting it again. So look, if you're just talking about losing gracefully in general, first of all, it's absurd to say that that's what the Republicans do. Absurd. They're vicious, vicious fighters. But the only thing that could beat the vicious political fights that the Republicans do is a riot and the violence. So Marjorie Taylor Greene basically supporting that still to this day. So now, but I think the most interesting part of this story is we now have the 3 most powerful forces within the Republican Party fighting one another. So but they're on 2 sides. On one side is Mitch McConnell, who has never lost a fight inside the Republican Party, and the Cheneys. And obviously the Cheneys are super powerful and ran the Bush administration for 6 years. Bush was a figurehead from 2000 to 2006 as Dick Cheney was the de facto president. And then Liz Cheney is now Dick Cheney's shadow and agrees with every one of his policies and has risen up to the number 3 spot among Republican leadership in the House. Now, McConnell's and Cheney's are on one side. The idea of losing that side was previously unimaginable. But on the other side is Donald Trump. and the lunatics like Marjorie Taylor Greene, et cetera. I think Trump's gonna win. So McConnell is saying, I'm with Cheney. The Trump people are trying to remove Liz Cheney. I don't know if they'll win that particular fight. That one's pretty close because she has the power of incumbency, et cetera. The colleagues might think, well, there, but for the grace of God, go I. So that one's 50-50 to me, that particular fight. But the big picture fight, no, Marjorie Taylor Greene is gonna win her reelection easily. All the lunatics are gonna win easily. And a couple of those so-called moderate Democrats who are nowhere near, Republicans, nowhere near moderate. They're massive, crazy, warmonger, right-wing Republicans like the Cheneys. Some of them will lose their primaries. And the minute they do, everyone will again bow their heads to Donald Trump. So that's what this fight's about. And that's what the two camps are. And it looks like for the first time ever, the McConnells and the Cheneys are the underdogs in the Republican Party.
It is really interesting though, Cenk, to see Lindsey Graham try to straddle this issue because on one hand, he's this giant Trump loyalist because he's terrified of Trump's base. I mean, after he was confronted by them at an airport, I'm sure he's terrified by them. But at the same time, remember, Lindsey Graham is a giant, lover of forever wars. He's very hawkish on foreign policy and he's good friends with Liz Cheney. And so he put out his own supportive tweets for Liz Cheney and I wanna share them with you. He says, I believe Liz Cheney is one of the strongest and most reliable conservative voices in the Republican Party. She's a fiscal and social conservative and no one works harder to ensure that our military is well prepared. So what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I mean, he's in a tough spot. He's got to eventually choose between supporting his good friend Liz Cheney, who agrees with him on spending more and more money on the military, or protecting his own reputation among Trump supporters by siding with Trump. Remember, this whole issue regarding Liz Cheney is over the fact that she decided to vote in favor of impeaching Donald Trump. So we'll see how this all plays out for Lindsey Graham.
Let me do a quick translation of what Lindsey Graham said. I used to kiss Cheney ass and now I kiss Trump ass. So I'm a little torn here. So I've decided to split the baby by saying I support Trump and he's wonderful and a demigod. But don't worry, later I will try to start more wars with the Cheney family because my heart is really in warmongering and I'm just kissing Trump's ass to get his voters so that I can start another war. That's the translation.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.